Hey guys, Steve from PC Budget Solutions here, and stay tuned to the end of the video. I'm gonna try to be one of the first people out there to do something, if I can get everything ordered in time. So stay tuned to the video, and at the very end, I think there's going to be a bit of information everybody's been waiting for. So without further ado, let's start. Okay, so system specs. Well, first, let me tell you what we're looking to do here. So I have three graphics cards here at my disposal. 1080, 1070, 980 Ti, just the graphics cards I have around right now. This is just going to be a short video, hopefully less than 5-10 minutes. Just quick benchmarking on just these cards, how well they perform, and like some of your more popular tests. I'm going to need you guys in the comment section below to recommend some games for me to download that hopefully have built-in GPU benchmarks that I can run and do just a quick comparison. I can do different processor setups, different graphics card setups. Definitely looking to do that down the road as I can grow the channel out. But here's the test system here. 4790K at 4.5 gigahertz with 1.225 voltage, offset of 0.25, so about 1.25 is what it's running at. NZXT Kraken X60 cooler. The GPU is obviously going to vary. 16 gigs of HyperX memory, DDR3 1600, an EVGA for the win board. Power supply is okay, but it'll work. Crucial MX512 SSD and a 1440p 144 hertz IPS display. If you want more information, I'll definitely do a video on that if you'd like. Less than $400 is what that monitor cost me, so really good deal. But real quick, here are the specs of the card. So the card just picked up 2560 CUDA cores, 8 gigs of GDDR5X memory. Obviously the specs are really standard. The only difference is I got the boost clock under GPU Boost 2.0 or 3.0 up to 2025 megahertz without any tweaking other than max power delivery at 120% and temperature up to 92. Of course, I never got over 70. My fiance's GTX 1070 MSI Gaming X8 gig edition. Standard specs across the board is a 1070. Just shy of 2000 megahertz core clock. So that's definitely really interested. And then here's the last card. It's a card I've been used for about a year. It's an EVGA GTX 980 Ti. A lot of CUDA cores, but not as much memory or memory clock, but this a little bit more bandwidth, but the core clock's a lot slower. Now we're also using, an older architecture. So, the 10 series is using its architecture is probably 12 to 18 months newer. It's able to handle a lot of things with video compression a lot better than the older ones. But without further ado, so my first test was Time Spy Test 1. Apparently it does two tests. Default settings, which was 1440p. The 980 Ti and the 1070 extra trade blows, I only did 2 runs and I averaged them. So if I did maybe 4 to 10 runs, I think they would be within margin of error. The 1080 being, 1080 to be a clear winner across the board, but we're looking at about a 10 FPS increase in this regard. That's about a 25% increase over the GTX 1070. So definitely a sizable performance. Especially at this average frame rate, 10 to 15 FPS can make a huge difference. The next one is test number 2. Again, obviously the 1080 runs away with it. 1070 falling in second within about 2 FPS of the 980 Ti. Again, we're talking about the 9.5 FPS increase at this level is about a 20 to 25% increase. Especially when you scale at the 50, 60, 70 FPS, it's going to get a lot wider margin of error. Now, this next test is interesting. This is Heaven Benchmark. I thought the extreme tessellation may have something to do with it, but the next benchmark does not have it. Still shows a very similar result. So the 1080 wins, but not by as much. Over the 1070, 10 FPS at about 53 FPS is about a 15 to 18% increase. But the 980 Ti posting 56.5 FPS. That's only eyeballing it up like 7 FPS lower. At this rate, we're talking 10 to 12% difference. I'm using 1440p 8x anti-aliasing extreme tessellation. I just want to put these cards through some heck. I really have no interest in it just telling me 150 FPS when it's normally trying hard. So really getting it to have really high video memory output with high anti-aliasing and high resolution. And then the last video, which is going to be your value benchmark, very similar, answer here. So, now we're literally 7 FPS off on the high end. So now we're, like I said, 10-12% off. It is handily still beating the 1070 by about 18%. But really, really, really interesting results here. So I'm going to see what this translates into gaming performance. As I said earlier, if you guys in the comment section below, um, if you guys can give me some ideas of what games to test or how you want me to benchmark them, I'm definitely open to suggestions, and I'll be getting mid-range and lower-end graphics cards through here pretty soon, as long as I get some good positive feedback from my videos. But the very last thing that I want to show you guys here, I'm going to go ahead and bring up my Newegg here. So yeah, you guys can see my name and all that stuff. Okay, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it'll let me. Let me see if I... Nope, okay, it's kicking me out. So, I have an Ryzen 7 1700X chip and board set for priority overnight shipping on launch day. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it the second or the third. If I can get it the second, I hope that I can be able to upload benchmarks the first day. So that's why I have a 1080. I also have other parts to build a brand new computer from the ground up. 1 terabyte SSD, new power supply, 32 gigs of DDR4 memory, and I want to get these benchmarks up. So I'm going to be doing these benchmarks again, but I also want to do gaming benchmarks. I'm going to try to see if there's a way I can properly log World of Warcraft, being a very, very hot and contested game for high single-threaded performance demand and things like that. But let me see what other games you guys are interested in, and I'll be more than happy to benchmark them and give you guys a realistic expectation of what a 4.5 gen, because mind you, mine's like 4.5, it's Devil's Canyon, versus a brand new Ryzen chip does in games, because my chip cost $390, 300, 400, something like that. So it's going to be interesting if these 8 cores can really do better. And I'll do some video compression tests with Adobe Premiere and stuff. So if you guys have any questions, concerns, suggestions, anything like that, leave something in the comments here. I'm going to be reading next couple of days as I start to get another video up before the Ryzen launch. And I'll definitely be more than happy to answer them. And I really want to help grow this channel. So this is Steve from PC Budget Solutions signing out, and you guys all have a great day.